Tonight, big changes coming. We take a look at how organizers plan to pull off the 2021 Grandma's Marathon.
And new details. We're learning more about the suspect who was shot and killed in a lengthy armed standoff last week.
Plus, searching for a home. 9 people are looking for a place to live after an apartment fire on the range.
From CBS3 Duluth, this is the CBS3 News at 6.
Good evening, I'm Kristen Bakke.
And I'm Anthony Matt. Thanks for joining us. One of Duluth's biggest events is making more changes to make sure they're able to hold an in-person race in just a few months.
CBS3's John Cardinelli spoke with organizers to find out what these changes are.
This is the area where those who normally participate in Grandma's Marathon cross the finish line. But as we know, due to the pandemic, the race last year had to go virtual. But this year, due to a partnership made overseas, organizers say they know they'll be able to get participants over the finish line safely. For several months now, race organizers have been working with Marcel Altenberg, a crowd science expert based in the United Kingdom. Through a simulation program Altenberg created, they've been able to identify changes to maximize safety. That includes operating at half capacity. Buses to the start line for the marathon and half marathon will allow a maximum of 25 participants. Once at the start, participants will be released from separated lanes 5 at a time to control the flow onto the race course. Usually, all runners start the race at the same time. Those involved with the race say while these changes help, it will still take cooperation from participants to make it possible.
Now it's a matter of communicating that to our participants, our staff, our volunteers, and really getting people to buy into this because it does rely a lot on taking that personal responsibility come race day.
And as far as masks go, all participants, volunteers, and staff will be required to wear a mask or face covering at all times other than while running a race. And the race is expected to happen June 17th to June 19th. And coming up later tonight, we'll have much more on the race and the expectations and guidelines that will be in place.
All right, thanks, John. And now let's go over to Dave for a quick look at the weather. Dave, quite the change from what we've seen the last couple days today. Chilly out there.
Yeah, once we had that snow come across for the weekend, and some towns did get it, especially over towards the snow belt. We'll show a chart in a little bit on how much came to some towns and how little came to others. But bottom line is once that low left, Arctic air came in, and that's what sent temperatures down and cleared skies up today. Made for a beautiful day. We take this live look at Robinson Lake outside of Ely, and soon enough we'll be doing our annual guesstimates of when ice out will hit that little body of water. Not right now, but with a big warm spell coming our way starting tomorrow, it could be relatively soon. So cool for a day and a half. We go back towards the warm side as early as tomorrow afternoon. The backside of that high will start pumping a southerly wind into our region, so we'll top out at 42 by tomorrow afternoon and stay that way pretty much for the next 7 days. Probably staying pretty sunny as well. Snow fans, this is not a great week for you. I'll show you what I mean with the 7-day forecast in a few more minutes.
Thanks, Dave. The man officers shot and killed during a standoff Friday had a history of assault and domestic violence.
The BCA identified the suspect as 37-year-old David Conwell. The St. Louis County Sheriff's Office emergency response team shot him after a 20-hour standoff. Authorities have not said what specifically led them to fire their weapon, but it is believed Conwell fired the shots that killed Duluth Canine Luna.
According to court records, Conwell was found guilty of second-degree assault in 2004. There is nothing else on his record until 2017. He was charged with domestic assault, but that charge was dismissed. Then in 2018 and 2019, Conwell faced more charges of assault, domestic assault, and violating a no-contact order. Those charges were still pending.
His most recent charges stem from an incident in March of 2020. According to court documents, Conwell was walking up the middle of a street in downtown Duluth. When officers stopped him, he dropped a backpack and tried to run. During that pursuit, documents show Conwell hit the officers with a baton and then tried to pull a knife on them. He was arrested and charged with assaulting an officer. Those charges were also still pending at the time of his death.
Conwell was out on bail, but there had been a warrant out for his arrest since October after he skipped a court hearing.
Meanwhile, the Duluth Police Department has been under fire for its lack of communication during that standoff. It took the department 10 hours to issue a public safety alert for what is described as a dangerous situation.
Then the department issued few updates and didn't tell the public the danger had passed. The BCA released that information hours later. Mayor Emily Larson released a statement saying she's thankful to the department for what she called its incredible work, but she says they're committed to reviewing operations and improving communication with the public.
We also asked the mayor about renewed calls to defund the police over the department's handling of this incident and whether she's concerned about lack of public trust. She did not answer those questions.
If you're going to protest, do it peacefully. That's the message from authorities ahead of Derek Chauvin's trial next week. Chauvin is the officer charged in George Floyd's death while in police custody. Today, local, state, and federal law enforcement groups urged communities to utilize their First Amendment rights, but asked them not engage in criminal behavior. Authorities say they will have extra crews on staff ready to take swift action should things turn criminal. They say the main goal is to keep everyone safe while letting people voice their opinions. Authorities say they're working to thwart any criminal behavior before it happens.
We are absolutely in lockstep working to make sure that information sharing and intelligence gathering is going to go forward, because you cannot fight an opponent that you don't know about. You can't stop a bad thing from happening unless you know it's coming.
Minnesota law officials are asking that the public be vigilant and report any tips to help identify anyone looking to damage or promote criminal activity.
Meanwhile, the city of Minneapolis scrapped a plan to hire 6 social media influencers ahead of that trial next week. The city hoped the influencers would post city-approved messaging and information during the trial, but they shut that plan down today, citing negative feedback. Each influencer would have been paid $2,000.
Tonight, the Red Cross is helping 9 people who are now without a home after an apartment fire in Virginia. The investigation into what caused the fire is still ongoing. It started just after 10 o'clock Sunday morning at 1st Street and 3rd Avenue. All residents did make it out safe, and 2 cats were rescued. 2 Virginia firefighters had minor injuries.
Fire crews have put out a fire that started on a ship in Duluth Harbor near Garfield Avenue. Here's what the scene first looked like when the fire started. The ship is decommissioned, it is being scrapped, and we've been told that during that process today, a spark from machinery caught nearby wood on fire. No word if anybody was hurt.
Minnesota Democrats are blasting Republican Congressman Pete Stauber for voting against a bill that would alleviate the financial burden of the pandemic. In the early morning hours Saturday, the House passed the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Act. It would provide $1,400 to most taxpayers and nearly $250 million for the 8th Congressional District. In a statement, the DFL party chairman Ken Martin said it was astonishing that Stauber would oppose funding for vaccine distribution, safe school reopenings, and financial relief for American taxpayers. In response, Stauber said he voted against the bill because it earmarked too much money for what he called far-left priorities, which are unrelated to the pandemic. The bill cleared the House without a single Republican vote. It's now in the hands of the Senate.
Minnesota has set daily records for vaccines administered. Nearly 70,000 doses were administered Sunday. It marks the 2nd day in a row the state has set a record. Minnesota has averaged more than 34,000 vaccinations per day over the last week. At that pace, about 30% of state residents would be able to get a shot by August. Minnesota is now 5th in the nation when it comes to vaccines administered.
Wisconsin's teachers and child care workers are now eligible for the COVID-19 vaccine. They join frontline workers and those 65 and older. While these groups are eligible now, teachers and child care providers should expect to have an appointment later in March or early April. The state has vaccinated about 50% of residents 65 and older. Wisconsin continues to get more doses of the vaccine from the federal government.
In Milwaukee County, to give you some transparency, local health departments expect to receive about 36% of our requested vaccine allocations for next week.
Meanwhile, CDC guidance says people with chronic health conditions should be prioritized. But Wisconsin isn't following that. The CDC advice says people ages 16 to 64 with underlying medical conditions should be vaccinated at the same time as essential workers and people 65 and older. State health leaders defended their decision, saying they considered risk of death and virus spread.
Lake Superior College is giving 3 of its standout students the tools to succeed, literally. The students are in the Machine Tech program and were presented with the LSC Foundation's Machine Toolbox Scholarship. Each student was awarded tools worth nearly $2,000. The students say this means a lot to them as they get ready to enter the industry.
It helps out tremendously. The tools that we received when we were just going through them are what every machinist needs. You have from your calipers to your micrometers to other measuring instruments to just even a hammer. It makes the world a difference.
The Toolbox scholarships are awarded each year to students in the machining program.
Millions in federal funding is on its way to 3 Northland airports. The FAA awarded grants to airports around the nation for COVID relief. The money can be used to cover costs for things like operations, personnel, and cleaning. Duluth International Airport is getting $1.6 million. Range Regional and Falls International are each receiving a little more than $1 million. The goal is to help airports survive the dramatic drop in passengers due to the pandemic.
Still to come on Live Local CBS 3, a drive out to Wisconsin Point is normally pretty scenic, but right now it's anything but. Find out why next.
Normal high is 29. Best we could manage today in the Twin Ports was 16. But this cool down is short-lived. By tomorrow, we'll go back to warmer than normal and probably ride that wave for at least a week. Could be a dry wave, too. We'll talk about how sunny it could get and stay coming up after our break.
Join us weeknights for Live at 5 as we go around the Northland, city by city.
Always ready, always there. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
We're working hard to provide you with an improved DTA experience. With the Transit app, see your route in real time, get notifications, plan your trip, and more in one convenient place. And that's just one way we're building a better DTA.
You already know that Cary Toyota in Superior is a great place to buy and service your vehicle. But we have a lot more to offer every driver and not just people with Toyotas. We have the Yakima line of products for the adventure seekers, including roof racks, bike and kayak racks, and cargo carriers. We also have running boards, bed steps, and Access brand tonneau covers like I put on my truck. And for those of you who like a clean vehicle, we have professional detailing services and all-weather floor liners from Toyota and WeatherTech. Cary Toyota in Superior. We have something for every driver.
Attention oxygen therapy users.
I was on oxygen tanks and I couldn't go anywhere and do much of anything. I didn't dare go far.
It's time to reclaim your independence with an Inogen 1 oxygen concentrator.
I got my life back. I really love my Inogen.
Inogen makes its own oxygen from the air around you, so you'll never worry about running out of oxygen again.
Do I think Inogen is worth the money? It's worth every single penny of it.
Call now for your free information kit.
The world changed in an instant, but at MediaCom, we were ready. And as internet traffic increased, we never slowed down. Schools and businesses went virtual, and we powered a new reality. For more than 20 years, we've been building a future-ready network to keep you ahead of it all. And now, MediaCom will be among the first to take you to 10G. We're making the next giant leap forward in internet technology and taking you further than you can imagine.
When you had questions, CBS3 was there with answers, working together with regional media outlets to serve our local communities, doing what we do best. When questions arise, tune to the local station. Live, local, CBS3.
You're all tough, but we're here to find out who is the toughest of them all.
Nothing's gonna stop me.
Let's do it!
Why are we chasing the sheep?
Let's go, let's go!
I've never even been around a sheep in my life.
It's a hot mess. Doing good?
I'm tough because of how I grew up.
This is a fighter.
Everything that I do now is for my wife and my girls.
Woo! Look at Zeus go!
I want to give my son everything I never had.
We came here for one reason, and that's for our family.
A new Tough as Nails. Watch Wednesday, 8/7 Central, or stream anytime on CBS.
Join us weeknights for Live at 5 as we go around the Northland, city by city.
Now, the CBS3 Duluth WeatherMax forecast with meteorologist Dave Anderson.
Well, let's talk about the weekend snow totals. Minnesotans didn't get much, but over towards the snow belt, flakes flew just a little bit more furiously. 6.5 inches roughly towards Guile, Ironwood 6 inches, Washburn 5, Ashland 4.5, and Bayfield 4. Switching over to the Minnesota side of life, Two Harbors and the Twin Ports got about 2 inches, and Cloquet around 1.5 inches. So Minnesota snow fans, you didn't get much, and you probably won't get any more for the next 7 days. And that holds true for the snow belt even, because a big dry spell's coming aboard along with another warm-up as early as tomorrow afternoon, which we'll talk about after these current conditions. It's 14 at the airport, 35% for the relative humidity, so it's a big dry air mass coming in. Westerly winds going 7 gentle miles per hour now, but that could pick up towards 20 as the night goes on, and we're looking at a gale warning on Lake Superior then. Air pressure on the higher side at 3.38 inches of mercury. Current temps, a little bit on the cool side, 10 to 12 for the Upper Peninsula, and 13 to 19 in northern Wisconsin, with La Pointe being the cool spot at 13, Superior being one of the warm spots at 19, which they share with Moose Lake. A little cooler in Two Harbors at 16, down to 10 for Ely, 14 International Falls, and for Hibbing, 16 Grand Rapids and Deer River. Lows tonight likely in the single digits above zero for everybody overnight. It's tomorrow afternoon that the second warm spell comes to call. Well, right now calling upon our region is that high pressure system, which is keeping most of the clouds at bay, and just might do so for the rest of the week, because this high, of course, initially came from Canada with a cool note, led with its cool side, but it's going to finish with its warm backside here. Yeah, take that as you will, for the next week or so. So we're going to come up sunny and warm. I don't see any snow, at least until next Monday, maybe even Tuesday, and even that's just tenuous wishful thinking for a snow fan here. What do we get tonight in Minnesota? Partly cloudy sky with lows from 5 inland to 12 by the lake. Wisconsin and Michigan numbers, they're pretty chilly too, 4 to 8 above, but at least it's above zero. Tomorrow, there's the warmth beginning again, 40 to 43 for Wisconsin and the UP with a mostly sunny sky, which will spill across the border into Minnesota as well. High temps there, 38 to 43. The normal's 29, and so we're warmer than normal all week long, mostly sunny all week long, dry all week long. Is this a sign of spring, Tony? I don't know if I would push it.
Yeah, you never know.
This may be the infamous fool's spring. Yeah. We get used to it for a week, and then a blizzard happens.
Yeah, you never know. I went out to shovel on Sunday, and I thought, you know what? I remember Dave saying it's going to be, close to 40 and sunny for the rest of the week, so I just left it. So I hope that holds true, and everything melts.
I snowblowed yesterday, I suppose, just to keep the machine lubricated.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks, Dave. An unsightly scene near Wisconsin Point is leaving some Superior residents concerned.
Trash filled the side of Moccasin Mike Road over the weekend. While Superior city leaders say it won't happen again, CBS3's Emma Quinn shares how residents are taking action.
Over the weekend, a large amount of trash piled up along the side of Moccasin Mike Road in Superior.
Oh, it was just a mess. I mean, the whole entire ditch just covered in a lot of plastic bags, all kinds of other garbage. I mean, it was back quite a ways from the road. It was up in the tree.
Superior Mayor Jim Payne says while trash does build up there due to the nearby landfill, this weekend was a rare occurrence.
We got a very rare south wind, and because that's the least common direction for the wind to come in off the lake, we don't have fencing that way, and plus a little bit of snow cover lets the trash fly a little farther.
The city has full-time staff from the Public Works Department who clean the area regularly. They were out in full force Monday afternoon. Payne says the city is actively looking to solve the problem. One solution in mind, closing the nearly full landfill.
Ultimately, while it'll be just a few years before we can close it, that's how we permanently fix this problem. Close the landfill, we don't bring garbage out there anymore.
That would create its own challenges in finding another option for the trash, but for the time being, community members are getting together for a mass cleanup over the weekend.
We live on the largest lake in the world, and I mean, everything that goes into that lake is going out somewhere else. And if we don't do something about it now, what's it going to be, in 20 years, 50 years from now?
The group of community members will be meeting at noon on Saturday near the Superior landfill to start the cleanup process.
Still ahead in sports, the 2021 Birkebeiner looked a little different this year. See how a duo made the most of it virtually.
Get your crust liner built at RJ Sporting Center.
CBS3 live cams are brought to you by Kohler Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac. You're not just getting a car, you're getting Kohler.
Mariah Haberman here from Discover Wisconsin. Join me and the rest of the crew every week on this station for all things Wisconsin. Continue the adventure on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and discoverwisconsin.com. Plus, subscribe to the Cabin Podcast, available wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
Your business relies heavily on IT. Whether you know it or not, you need local experts that can solve any IT problem. You need Citin. Proudly serving the Northland since 1994 and trusted by businesses just like yours. Citin, always on.
Whatever your water worry, Culligan Water can help. With over 40 filtration systems, including the world's best softener, no one filters more than Culligan Water. The only water that comes with a van. Contact Culligan, the local water experts.
Black Bear Casino Resort invites you to find your own pot of gold at the end of the rainbow with Lucky Leprechauns. Saturdays in March from 6 to 9 p.m., 4 Lucky Leprechaun winners will be selected for a chance to win up to $3,000. That's a total of 16 winners each Saturday and $22,250 in cash prizes. Earn entries starting Sunday, February 28th. And for more information, visit blackbearcasinoresort.com. Be a Lucky Leprechaun Saturdays in March and make the Bear your place.
That's not bacon. It's sausage.
Whoa.
Behold, Johnsonville sausage strips. Sausage that looks and cooks like bacon. It's a meaty miracle. Find them in the bacon section, even though they're sausage.
Hi, I'm Steve Little with Bath Planet. It's time to welcome the new year with the bath of your dreams. With our Say Goodbye to 2020 sale, we're offering 20% off labor, 20% off material, and no interest, no payment, and zero down until 2022. All of our products are backed with the Good Housekeeping seal of approval and a lifetime warranty. For a free estimate, call us today or visit us online at bathplanet.com. Bath Planet, out of this world service, down to earth price.
Here at locally owned Adolphson Real Estate, we are ready to help you find the home of your dreams with no extra fees. Take a look at this nice hillside bungalow in a prime location. Please call our Duluth office for more details. Call us today to schedule a tour at Adolphson Real Estate.
Heart attacks and strokes happen, even in the midst of COVID-19, and at least one will occur while you're watching this. Heart attacks and strokes are medical emergencies. If you experience symptoms of a heart attack or stroke, do not delay seeking care. Call 911 immediately. Hospitals are prepared and can safely treat you. Visit cdc.gov/coronavirus to learn more.
Get local vaccine information all at CBS3Duluth.com. Now, CBS3 Sports with Kelly Hinson.
Well, you thought this last weekend was a big deal. Try this coming weekend. UMD may have missed the Julian By Cup by just 1 minute and 30 seconds, but they have a shot at a much bigger goal in mind this coming weekend. They'll go into the week of final face-off practice, garnering half of the available WCHA Player of the Week awards. Junior forward Gabby Hughes led all players in scoring in the Bulldogs' 4-point WCHA grab against the then #1 Wisconsin. The Lino Lakes native had 4 goals and 1 assist for 5 points. In net, junior Emma Soderberg again stood tall, leading the WCHA with 71 saves on 77 shots in the split with the Badgers. It's her 3rd career weekly honor. UMD has their eyes on an even bigger prize this weekend down in Minneapolis. It's the fight for the final face-off championship and an automatic berth into the NCAA tournament. The Bulldogs take on Ohio State in the semifinals at 5 p.m. on Friday. The UMD men will officially be in playoff mode at the end of the week, and their final test of the regular season is against St. Cloud State, who they put quite the beating on this past weekend. Nick Sweeney came to play on senior night at Amsoil Arena on Saturday. The Lakeville native recorded his 2nd career hat trick. Sweeney also recorded his 100th career point as a Bulldog.
you know, when you look at our scoring and look at the way those guys played, they were our leaders tonight, and we're going to need that moving forward here. And you know, we'll have other guys chip in, but those guys have to be our guys. And Nick was outstanding tonight.
Hayward's famous Birkebeyer ski race looked very different this year. I tried, okay? I just call it the Berkey, all right? As have most things with the way things are in the world right now, but not all for the bad. A pair of Minnesota residents turned Californians had a unique chance to compete in the Berkey virtually, even if they didn't have any snow to work with.
A few K in, things started to get a little spicy. Got some rocks.
Good thing us Nordic skiers are creative and tough as rocks. Tough as rocks. Tough as rocks.
I've never done this many types of skiing in one outing.
Harrison Philip Durberger finished this year's Berkey virtually on the sandy beaches of the Pacific Ocean. For Harris, it was his 7th consecutive Berkey, and since he couldn't be there in person, he got creative with his virtual race. At first, Harris considered roller skiing, but decided against it and ultimately finished 43 kilometers with the same equipment he would have used back in the Northwoods.
Coming out, I think I was just stoked on being able to get on skis and having accomplished that. It was a physical task for sure, but emotionally it was just like such a good time where I think when I was done, I was just feeling that Berkey fever, getting stoked on having virtually competed in the race. Like if there's one time to do a Berkey not on the Berkey Trail, I like to think that it'll be this year.
Harris says he'd love to try it again next year, although he says he wants to tweak the route a little bit to simplify everything. He just needs one more person to commit to doing it along with him. That's going to do for sports for now. We'll have more back here tonight at 10. Chris and Tony, I'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Kelly. 2 astronauts floated outside the International Space Station early Sunday for the first in a series of spacewalks needed to upgrade the lab's aging solar power system.
The 2 astronauts began work to install struts at the far left end of the station's power truss to support new rollout solar array blankets scheduled for delivery later this year. The arrays feed power into 8 electrical circuits, 2 per wing. When the station is in daylight, the arrays charge batteries and deliver power to the lab's myriad systems.
Combined with the 95 kilowatt output of the original 8 panels, the station's upgraded system will provide about 215,000 kilowatts of power.
Oofda. That's a lot of power. Dave, what are we looking at for weather?
Very uniform conditions.
Okay.
A chilly night tonight, but followed by a warm spell beginning tomorrow afternoon. That will bring the same old thing from Tuesday through Monday, which means a sunny sky, high temps from about 35 to 42, and overnight low temps 18 to 20 above. Snow fans, I don't see any for us, perhaps until next Tuesday.
Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you again at 10.